they realise that there's no nickel left on the LME stockpile, so they have to come in early and they have to invest. They need to lock in supply for 10 to 20 years. We're looking at an ore body that's multiple tens of millions of tonnes. It's 0.5 to 0.8% nickel. Put that in perspective, the Mount Keith ore body in Australia, which is one of the best nickel mines in the world, 0.6% nickel. We're hitting 1% nickel over big broad widths, and we're happy.
Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. We're here today with Scott Williamson, who is the MD of Blackstone Minerals. Hi Scott, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Yeah.
You ever here for a one-to-one?
Yeah, it's been good so far.
It's a good one, right?
Half day down and 1.5 days to go. So,
yeah, and you meaning they're putting all the right people in front of you?
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, full schedule, no spots free actually at all. So.
Beautiful, and the right type of investors as well.
That's the main thing, yeah.
Yeah, we think they're one
deep
of the...
pockets.
Deep pockets, they're the best ones, right? Okay, so Scott, I'm going to get you a kick off, give us a 1-minute summary of the company and then we'll kind of get into it.
Yep, no worries. So Blackstone, we're nearly 3 years old, so we IPO'd on the ASX, our code's BSX, nearly 3 years ago. Originally we started with nickel and gold exploration in Western Australia, then we moved into cobalt exploration in British Columbia, just north of Vancouver. Unfortunately, the cobalt price sort of turned against us, so we had to pivot towards what's now our flagship asset. So we've got nickel sulfide mine in Vietnam, 6 hours out of Hanoi, and it's in care and maintenance, and it's a mine that we think will be reopened over the coming years, and we're pretty excited to sort of feed the nickel into the lithium-ion battery industry. So we're right on the doorstep of the key players being South Korea, Japan and China. So it's a great little asset, and yeah, pretty excited to get it back up and running.
Okay, so that's the first thing I noticed. You're operating in, well, you've got 4 assets in 3 countries, right? So we're in Canada, we're in Vietnam, we're in Australia, small company, market cap, 22 million bucks.
How do I
why?
Do it? Why? Yeah. And we tried to keep the money in the ground as well. So I'm basically a one-man team flying all around the world. My 6-year-old said to me just before I left the house, "Oh, you're like a visitor, Daddy." So it's been tough.
We've all had those conversations, just so you know. Right.
But so the reason being is that as a junior, you have to have backup plans, and you have to be able to move where the market is, and at the moment, we're focused on nickel, but we think this is the one that, and so there's no more pivots from here. But all those other assets are still good assets in the right market, but unfortunately we can only really focus on one at the moment, so it's Vietnam.
Okay, so let's deal with the cobalt thing. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so the market turned. Lots of companies cobalt got affected, right? So how much money had you sunk into that? How much time, effort? Yeah,
so a good 2 years of exploration.
Right.
The asset, it was a $5 million scrip deal, so there's $5 million there. We sunk about $3 to $5 million. We had a $50 million market cap off one drill hole, so that was good fun. But it's an asset that in the right environment is worth $50 or $100 million.
Right.
At the moment, the market's giving it probably zero, but we'll hang on to it. We'll continue to progress it, keep it in good standing, and move it and keep it ready.
Does that cost much?
200 grand a year, sort of thing. So yeah, 100 to 200 grand. So we've had a geo on the ground there all year, mapping and soil sampling, stream sediment. So we're continuing to get it ready. Yeah. And we're ready to drill it.
So what's your thesis about cobalt? Do you think it's coming back anytime soon?
It's probably a 2 to 3 year play.
Right.
The problem being is the supply kicked in out of the Congo. I think everyone thought that maybe the Congo we wouldn't go there, but unfortunately the battery makers just have to go there. And unfortunately, they've sort of come to the conclusion that the Congo is where you want to get your cobalt, and so the supply kicked in, killed the price. Yeah.
And we've had a few CEOs. I know you're an MD, but we've had a few CEOs talk to us about ethical mining, etc. And obviously DRC suffers from a few image issues, but you think if people want cobalt, they're going to mine.
Well, you can mine ethically in the Congo, and groups like Glencore do it very well. There's a lot of major players in there that can do it ethically. They sort of do it all by the book. So you can mine the Congo ethically. The issue being is security of supply, and the problem being is that the supply out of the Congo can turn on and off depending on which president or different sort of in-country risks.
Okay.
And so that's probably more of an issue than the ethical cobalt.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So cobalt, you're parking it up 2-3 years. It could be worth something again. Market conditions allow.
And depending on how the market is next summer, we might even go and bang a few holes in there and get excited again. But at the moment, our focus is just Vietnam. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's come on to that nickel. Very topical again. EV thematic. Everyone's talking about it. I don't know what that means in actual reality. You explorers. So how did you find this? How much have you paid? How much
so in reality, it's a good point because we've built a strong relationship with the battery end users, and it was our relationships with these end users that actually pushed us towards nickel. So about 12 months ago, they said to us, "Oh, by the way, we're reducing cobalt. Can you find us some nickel sulfide?" And that's why we landed on this asset.
Right.
So the asset is owned by the vendor. The vendor is the metallurgist that built the processing plant. He bought it PA.
Right.
We've done an option deal, so we will give him $1 million worth of Blackstone shares over the next 18 months, and then we'll own the 90% of the asset. There's a local partner who has 10%. But what this vendor, Steve, has done, he's been able to keep this mine ready to turn on as quickly and when required.
Right.
So yeah, he's kept it in good standing and it's ready to go.
So I'm trying to work out what your business plan is. You're a technical guy, right? So I'm guessing
a little bit.
So we don't want to. The answer can't be I drill holes. So what's the business plan for how do you grow this business? Because you pivoted away from cobalt quickly. Yeah. You found another asset quickly. Yeah. So what are you trying to do with the business?
So this will be a mine, and it was a mine. So it operated from 2013 to 2016. Yeah. My background when I was technical was mining engineering. So my skill set is underground mining. I've done a bit of open pit mining. So I can see that this will be a mine, and we can move this back into production. What we'll do is we'll bring in a big funding source, be a battery end user, to help us fund that. Okay. And we'll move this back into production. This could give these guys the security of supply that they need for nickel.
That's a realistic means of funding these days? Are you saying because I get everyone's trying to link every single commodity to batteries, right? But you think that battery manufacturers or people who operate in that space will invest at mine level rather than buy in market? Why? Yeah, the reason being is that they realise that there's no nickel left on the LME stockpile, so they have to come in early and they have to invest. They need to lock in supply for 10, 20 years. So they don't want to own the mine. They're happy for us to run the mine, but what we'll do is bring them in at the downstream processing level. So we're looking to build a nickel sulfate plant. Nickel sulfate will go then into the battery plant or the cathode plant. Yeah. So this is a new sort of scenario where previously there was no nickel in batteries and there was no opportunity for nickel miners to build into the battery, I suppose, theme. These guys have gone, we're happy to help fund it. You how to mine, we know how to build batteries. We work together, and somewhere we meet in the middle. So what's that conversation look like? Because you have to say,
we've taken
the risk away for you here. This has produced in the past. We can get it back into production. I don't know what the grades are, and I don't know what it's going to cost you, and I don't know how economic it is, but them coming in at this level must eat up some of your margin, right? But you're saying money today is better than waiting. So
I suppose for us, the conventional capital markets are very difficult. So we've got to look at other ways of funding these things. So, it's all about, okay, well, let's try not to dilute the Blackstone shareholders too much. And the way to do that is dilute at an asset level. Sure. So these guys are saying, when you're ready, tell us what it looks like economically, then we can come in and how much is it going to cost and how do we sort of move this forward together.
So have you got any conversations going on now?
Yes, and it's been 18 months in the making because we went to these guys with our cobalt play, and then 6 months ago we said, oh, by the way, we've now got a nickel mine, and so it's well advanced. It's being long focused money and very deep pockets. It's not the sort of money that can turn on straight away. It takes time, but over the next sort of the next period, we'll sort of start to really flush out what this could look like.
Okay, so you're going to agree rough terms. It's more than an MOU, though.
Well, it's an MOU.
It's an MOU.
There's a process.
But what do you need to do to trigger that MOU? What do you need to show them in terms of results, numbers, economics?
Well, I think we need to show our ability to restart the mine, and the fact that it's already there and it's ready is a good start.
But starting a mine, easy. Doing it economically, two different things. So how do you get to the point where you've got the confidence about what's it? Because it must be a lot of data, right?
Yeah. So first things first, we've got to drill the ore body out. Sure. So the difference with our strategy is we found the customer first, then we found the asset. Yeah. Now we've got to make sure the asset works, and we're confident that'll happen, but we do need to do that work. So 4 drill rigs spinning. Maiden resource, scoping study, then it starts to really look like something that's worth more than the current market cap, which is only $20 million. So
that's interesting. You come at it from that angle, which is find out what the money wants and go find it and deliver it.
On their doorstep.
Right. So they must have given you some level of assurity that when you turn back up at the door and said, we've got what you said you wanted, they'll do something. So there's a long-standing relationship, is it?
It's a relationship that's built on their desperation for this metal.
Right.
And not just nickel, but cobalt as well.
Yeah.
And we've got some good cobalt credits, but it's very quickly we realise, okay, these guys know that they need a lot of nickel, they need a lot of cobalt. They don't know where to start. They know that they need to work with groups like ourselves that know a little bit about mining, a bit about exploration. Yeah. And they will bring them down upstream and they will go downstream. So it's a relationship that's built on a necessity for these guys. If they don't have the nickel, there is no electric vehicle revolution, and that's the problem.
But there's other nickel plays, and they are trying to tie
various.
Of course. But they are trying to tie up various companies. But there's also quite a few large nickel companies who these guys aren't talking to at the moment. So I'm just trying to understand what you've got that they don't.
Because they're all locked into offtakes with refineries. So these offtakes have been inked a long time ago. So all the nickel at the moment, other than say 5% that's going into batteries, most of it's going down to the stainless steel route. Yeah. So these guys are already locked up. So they can't be talking to nickel miners that are already in offtakes. Sure. Until that offtake expires.
So there's a few. We've interviewed a few in the past couple of months where they're sitting on large ore bodies. They know what they've got. They've drilled a lot of things, but no one's talking to them because the numbers are too big.
Well, that's the So the reason they're talking to us is because we need, say, 100 million, not 1 billion.
Okay, there you go. There's the answer.
So they don't want to give us 1 billion, but they're happy to 100 million pocket change.
Pocket change, nice. But there's the answer I was looking for, which is a case of it's a very low entry cost to get that point. So can we talk about some of the other numbers? Do you have some sense of what the size of this ore body is? What are the grades? What have been the grades?
Yeah, so we're looking at an ore body that's multiple tens of millions of tonnes. It's lower grade. It's sort of 0.5 to 0.8% nickel.
It's not bad.
It's not too bad. Yeah. It's not too bad. So put that in perspective, the Mount Keith ore body in Australia, which is one of the best nickel mines in the world, 0.6% nickel. Actually, the last meeting I just had, apparently the current head grade is 0.44. So,
and we've talked about 3 companies who've got 0.34, 0.35.
So we're hitting 1% nickel over big broad widths, and we're happy.
Right. So obviously market's seeing a bit of a dip in the last couple of weeks on nickel, but I think that's because scrap coming into the market at the moment. But it'll pick up, say, Q2 next year. So it's not an issue for you now.
Exactly.
Right. But you, again, what's the thematic here for you is you think nickel, because of the EV revolution, will continue.
It's a 2025 story. 3 to 5 years out, we need to be looking at where this nickel price will be when we're actually mining this. So we're not mining for another 2 to 3 years, but that's still quicker than the average nickel laterite or high capex scenario. They're just not going to meet that timeline that we need. These guys need nickel 2023, 2024, 2025, and they don't know where they're getting it from. And so they're starting now to find for 3 years' time.
So that's another reason people are coming to you, because you're near-term production relatively compared to...
Because there's 100 million already sunk.
Yeah.
That's 100 million we don't need to find, and so we can find the next 100 million, turn it on quickly, and and move it, and then be a real fund, feed source for these battery guys. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So quick to market. Okay, got it. Because that's got to inform your thinking and your negotiations with the MOU wherever you end up. Because I guess in a meaningful way, because you've got the money, you've made that bet. You don't really mind what the price of nickel does in a way, right?
Unfortunately, it affects my day-to-day share price, but I don't need to raise money today, so as long as it's...
kind of don't care?
Well, for now.
For now, okay.
So we're funded for 6 months.
Yeah.
And that gets us to a maiden resource scoping study, and then hopefully by that stage, we start showing the market that we're worth more than 20 million market cap, and we're starting to re-rate. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't do much about the underlying commodity.
No, it's true. I mean, you've had a sort of okay year. It's sort of slightly lower than when you started the year. You've had a few troughs, a few peaks, but that's on the basis of you've had to go and find something new and not start again, because you've got something in the bank there with the cobalt. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
On ice, literally.
It's on ice, literally. Oh yeah, it would be up there. But you've also got another. I just want to quickly talk about it. So you've also got Silver Swan South.
Yeah, so that's just north of Kalgoorlie, along strike of the Kanowna Belle gold mine, and it's also along the same ultramafic package as the Silver Swan nickel mine. Right. So that's actually nickel and gold, which is so another asset that is ready to drill. Unfortunately, we've only got $4.5 million. All of that, most of that, has to go into Vietnam. That's another asset that's not on ice because it's a bit hot down there at the moment, but it's an asset that we could go and drill because it's nickel, and we've got the end users ready for nickel, so it sort of fits our theme. But you're
focused. You're focusing your money, time, and attention in Vietnam because that's the quickest return, especially if you get this MAU sorted, right? Okay, understood. So. Tell us a little bit about the team. Have you got any? You talked about a one-man band earlier, right? There's got to be a bit more than you running around doing things. So tell us a bit about the team.
So we've got a great team in country. Yeah. So what the vendor kept this team. It's basically the team that operated it. Okay. It's the geological team that was operating the mine. So we've got a great geological team on the ground. We've got so the in-country team. Very strong government relations. Steve, the vendor, is a metallurgist. Obviously, key part of what we're trying to do is metallurgy and delivering the nickel sulfate. So there's a lot of good science there. But the geological team, we've got a PhD, Doctor of Geology. He's been on the asset for 20 years.
But those are technical guys. Is there anyone there who's kind of exited or made money for shareholders before?
Yeah, so on the board, Hamish and Steve, so Hamish Halliday, Steve Parsons, so there's a history of building small companies from $3 to $5 million shells into multiple $100 million companies. Takeover, so Adamus was taken over by Endeavour, which was Hamish's first one. Steve was Griffin Minerals, that was taken over by Teranga. Steve's latest one is the Bellevue Gold Limited. It was a $5 million, $300 million company.
Nice guy.
Yeah, so we've got this history.
Interviewed him.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, we've got this history of big discoveries, adding shareholder wealth, and then moving it on. But I suppose the difference being is because I'm a mining engineer, we can build a mining company here if we want to.
Right, but that is the intention. Get this thing
get it up and running. We've got the funding partners that will back us to do this. Not once, but as soon as we get one mine, they'll be saying, where's the next one? Right. Because this mine won't give them enough nickel. Okay,
so just finish off because I know you've got to dash back to the conference. On the money side of things, you talked about $4 million that's going to be focused in Vietnam. What are you burning through at the moment?
Yeah, so that drill program will go for the next 6 months. So within 6 to 9 months, we'll need to go again.
Go back to the market.
But by that stage,
go back to the market.
Resource, scoping study, hopefully some sort of re-rate. Right. So we're spending probably $200,000-$300,000 a month. So that we could last for 9 months if we had to.
9 months.
But depending on the market, we could ramp that up.
Right, but the question was, are you going to go back to market at some point in like
Definitely.
6-9 months and say, right, we need the next tranche of money?
Yeah, and best case scenario, that goes to one of these strategic partners.
Okay, but worst case?
Worst
case,
go to
market, right?
we have to go to the local stockbroker and
say we need some G&A.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. You guys paying yourselves, or how are you remunerating yourselves?
Yeah, so I'm on a base salary, obviously very much incentivised by, I suppose, options and all that sort of thing. I think our sort of remuneration is about getting skin in the game, so the board and management have 17%, so we're going to do what's best for the shareholders. So yeah, it's all about performance from here. Okay.
Scott, great first introduction. Thanks for coming along.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy yourself next door at the one-to-one conference, and hope you meet some interesting people.
Right.
Yeah? And do come back and tell us how you're getting on.
For sure.
Thanks very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please click the button in the corner of the screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also catch us on our website, cruxinvestor.com, and Cruxcast, our podcast series. Plus, most days you can catch us on LinkedIn and Twitter. We'd love getting your feedback, so please keep that coming, and we'll speak to you again soon.